Now, if women bent water just as well as they cooked, then I'd be out of a job.
I was really wondering how you were going to finish that statement.
I was being, what's his name?
Paku.
I was being Paku with a Southern U.S. regional accent.
And for the record, AJ does do the vast majority of the cooking in our household. So.
And Kaylee, as it turns out, does
all of the water bending.
All of the water bending in this household. I mean, you should see the water bending. The ice sculptures. The dishwashers. Thank you for tuning into Atlas Shrugged, the Avatar The Last Airbender podcast. I'm AJ.
I'm Kaylee.
And we are going to take you on a journey through yet another episode. This one is approaching the end of Avatar The Last Airbender's first season. An episode called
The Waterbending Master.
I knew you would remember. So, again, thank you for joining us. We had hoped to get to you sooner, but illness befell the Casa, Kaylee, AJ. And I was out of a voice for a little bit.
House full of sniffles here, but we are recovered.
We are recovered.
We have watched what is, to this day, one of my favorite episodes of Avatar The Last Airbender. And for those of you who, for some reason, are tuning into this episode for the first time...
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Welcome to our show. For your info, I have seen this show more times than I can count. I've been watching since it aired brand new on Nickelodeon in the early 2000s. And AJ has never seen any of the episodes past episode 18. That's
I'm watching
where we're
them
at.
all for the first time. And we are married.
We are married.
We're married.
Wow.
And now we're marrying our, her love of Avatar with my emergent of Avatar. So should we dig right into it?
Yeah. Let's dive right into the episode, shall we?
Okay. Yeah, I like that. We've got our handy dandy television right next to us. In order to stay era appropriate, we are watching on a sharp,
long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony.
Monitor. Or watching it off the digital video disc. I've seen this part.
You have to watch it every time. You just have to.
He vanished.
100 years passed and my brother and I discovered the new Avatar, an airbender named Aang.
Oh!
And although his airbending skills are great, he has a lot to learn before he's ready to save anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe Aang can save the world. Yeah. I believe it too.
I think he's going to need a little help.
Book 1, Water, Chapter 18, The Waterbending Master.
This is
Look at a little koala otter. Appa with his sass.
Uh-huh. He's so tired. He's flown all over the world at this point. Okay. Hold on. Sasha's ready for takeoff. I have to pause. If only just to appreciate the Sokka tushwag at the beginning. There is such sass. There is such angst building in Sokka because he is always the guy who saves the day and never the dude who gets the credit for it. I mean, like, in the grand public picture of things.
It's so true. I mean, he's easily the smartest guy on the team. They all have their strengths, but Sokka, for the most part, is not wrong. He knows what needs to be done, and it's usually his plan that gets them out of trouble.
He doesn't want to be the babysitter.
But he's the big brother. That's his job.
But he's the big brother. And now they've got one more in tow. Anyway, that was just a pause, really, to appreciate Sokka and his wagon little tush. Shall we continue?
Let's go.
Vroom, vroom. Flying for 2 days straight. They're trying to find the northern water folks.
And I think we found them.
Yeah, because all this ice starts coming out of the water. That doesn't happen. It happens sometimes. Oh, come.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was Fire Nation for a second. And it's not. It's the opposite.
When you first saw these people, let's pause before we get into
The
Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Commander. So many names I could say. We're just going to call him Zhao.
He's the fire guy.
He's the fire. Yeah, all those things. Anyway, when you saw the northern people come on their boats for the first time, did you notice a stark contrast between the organization of these people versus the Southern Water Tribe where Katara and Sokka come from?
They flanked him on all sides. Have you ever played Battleship against somebody who's really good at Battleship?
Yes.
Where you just feel cornered? I'm sure that's how our adventurers felt at that time.
Yeah, pretty much.
And for anybody who's unfamiliar with the game Battleship, it's a strategic game. It's laid out on a grid. It's about naval combat, right? Big hit in the USA because combat. Let's be real. Yeah, big difference. But you could tell right away also that they meant no harm. I mean, they maybe meant a little skepticism.
But the fact that the Northern Tribe is so hard to find is telling. And as we will hear when Commander Jerkface explains how the Water Tribe has survived 100 years of war, they have perhaps been a little bit more organized, perhaps have some fighters. If you guys remember, Katara was the only remaining surviving waterbender of the Southern Tribe. So
she's the only one that can actually bend the stuff, and they're still living out there.
Yeah. All right, let's hear what Zhao has to say.
Oh, Zhao. I won't do that every time. Iceland. They're smart. The Water Tribe is smart.
They're smart and surrounded by water. That's tough for the Fire Nation.
And their boats have cool little sails.
The Northern Water Tribe. We're finally here.
Oh. Da da da. Okay. I'm pausing. You know why I'm pausing.
The music.
Why, of course, the music. So here's something interesting here. As soon as we hit the Northern Water Tribe, we're getting a musical theme that A, was not a part of the Southern Water Tribe's reveal stuff. It just wasn't. B, it also has a striking dissimilarity. It is very different from any other of the nation musical themes that we've heard so far. It's really metric. Well, first of all, it's a theme. It's a melodic theme with a clear and very Anglo, very, music theory, refined to white people in Europe.
Right, that's what I mean. That sound you...
Metric. Yes, exactly. It sounds very regal. And this flies in the face of all the other, like the Earth people theme and the Fire Nation for the most part, because it's very metric, it's very regal. It uses this interval that implies like frontiership. It's I think it's a flat 6 that they often use in space movies.
Sure.
You know what I mean? To imply exploration and mystery and wonder, right?
It has a little bit of a different tone for sure than perhaps the boing of King Boomy's presence.
Yes. Yeah, it's really different than the musical accompaniment under King Boomy. But I'm just saying this show is really smart with the details. And if you are not like me and you have seen this show all the way through, you're like, I already know. I already know this show's smart. And I'm seeing it more and more every time. And I have you to thank.
Oh, thanks. And I really want to focus in on, again, like the contrast between the Southern Water Tribe and the Northern Water Tribe. Just the display of like letting down the gates let's watch like the number of different waterbending moves we see just as they enter the city for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's. Kind of looks like a castle, like a medieval or castle.
They're showing off.
It's a stronghold. Yeah. We've been to temples, but this is like a moat.
Like, sorry, but cooler than Elsa's Ice Palace.
Better music too.
It's like an Ice-Venice.
Good. Yeah. It is. A river runs through it.
Oh, and our
by the
first
water
look at
temple.
Princess Yue.
Mm-hmm. And their little ice gondolas. You're sharp.
He is.
He's shredding on that loot. It's a good riff.
I love these little insights.
What? What? What?
For love.
Kaylee?
What?
Okay, so we just had Commander What's His Fire roll up on Uncle Iroh. But I have to stop for a different reason. Kaylee,
Yes.
are you telling me that this show has jingles?
Yes. What is so different about book one from the rest of the show is that you don't have very many jingles in the first book. But yes, there is music, real music, cultural music galore.
Kaylee! Most shows don't have jingles.
I know. Why do you think I've been pushing you to continue our jingle trend as we go? It fits with the show. You just didn't know it yet.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! What the hell? What is this show? We went all Ludus on the roof.
It's all kinds of fun. That's what it is.
Oh my gosh. I'm
And-
unworthy. I am unworthy of the jingles. Uncle Iroh just smoked every single musical interlude I've ever had on this show.
That's what I'm saying. Don't you love seeing that what
Oh my
Iroh does in
gosh.
his free time is encourage the rest of the crew to sit around a fire and sing with him?
Oh my gosh. I love Uncle Iroh so much.
I have so many things to say about Iroh, but we got to wait until we get to those scenes. So unfortunately,
Okay.
I'm going to return to the episode so Commander
it
Jerkface
going.
can keep talking.
Jerk. 4 seasons.
Nope. Yeah, he just appears there. Now we go back.
He interrupts the song.
To
and
the
that's
tribe.
so genius. And then they're banging on a drum.
Everybody's afraid of Appa. They ain't ever seen a flying bison before.
Appa gets his salad and he's like, check, please. They run away.
Celebrate the arrival of our brother and sister from the southern tribe. And they have
I thought he was going to say from another mister.
many of us believed disappeared from the world until now. The Avatar.
I honestly think that says so much about their culture that they would honor Katara and Sokka first.
Uh-huh.
Princess Yue is now marrying me.
I gotta stop there.
Did he say 16?
16.
What?
Okay, y'all. I watched this episode for the first time when I was 11 years old.
This really is medieval times.
And even then, I was like, 16? What do you mean she's marrying age?
Eee.
Like, at that time, when I was a kid, like, more akin to Aang's age, I was like, but that's only like 5 years away. This episode, I have so much to say. It is one of my favorites for a reason.
Say away.
But as a young girl, I was so inspired by the ideas that were being presented. There were things that I combated as a girl who liked to get out in the mud and go fishing and go hiking and play rough with the boys and
Your dad
all
calls
of the
that
things.
being a tomboy.
Being a tomboy. I
Yeah.
just call it being Kaylee. And there was so much validation for me growing up and seeing. This was the first time I had ever seen something that called out that problem. That Katara has been alongside Aang this entire time, fighting, learning waterbending. She discovered that she had healing abilities when Aang accidentally burnt her hands in the firebending episode.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay. There's just so much goodness here and a lot that is being called out. Poor Yue, beautiful young woman with her, snow white hair. Clearly, she is not just royal, but there's something special about her. And I felt bad for her instantly that I guess
She has cool eyes.
her childhood is over now. So
Right.
cool.
So today is her birthday?
Today is her birthday.
And these people come at the same time.
Yeah, that's just clandestine, right? Or just like, yeah, we got to fit all this in somehow.
Something tells me that the guy who was just talking does not necessarily want her to marry somebody her age. Like she's 16, but maybe she'd be,
So you won't find out about any of that until the next episode, so
Oh.
I'm not going to spoil it for you.
I mean, they're in Venice.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't go down that track. She's not marrying like a 60-year-old dude or something, if that's what you're worried about.
Okay.
It's much more complex than that. Why don't we dive back
Okay.
in?
All right, cool. Arranged marriages. They've been out of style a while.
Thank you, Father. May the great ocean and moon spirits watch over us.
She just shoots right past that.
You and his students will perform.
Here's Master Paku.
Ooh, performance. They got skits. Oh, wow. They really can waterbend. And Aang's like, yes, all my problems are solved. And the
Sokka's
spread's
just
good.
stuffing
Stuff in
his
his face. Mm-hmm. And it was love at first munch.
You're a princess. Back in my tribe, I'm kind of like a prince myself.
I love their brother-sister quips.
That's as much wing person as she's going to give Sokka.
Yes.
That's as much romantic support. Excuse me? Are we 12?
AJ, would you like to do an activity together?
Well, all the time, but I actually am 12.
What? That's not even marrying age.
My friend and I can't wait to start training with you. After we relax for a couple of days.
If you want,
Oh my gosh.
Then I suggest visiting a tropical island. If not, I'll see you both at sunrise. Good night.
Okay, and that is the moment that when looking back, you realize that Paku, that
He's a
that
taskmaster.
sexist shrew, just assumed that by friend he meant Sokka. That wanted
Wait, what do you mean by that?
that Aang says, my friend and I are so excited to work with you. And
My
you,
associate.
you realize looking back that Paku saw his two friends and assumed that he was talking about Sokka.
Oh, like Sokka is the one coming at this with any bending ability?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not part of my lived experience. That kind of assumption. Does that ring true for you?
It definitely rings true in a lot of ways. Like anytime that something has gone wrong with a car that we have brought in and a mechanic will automatically turn to you and ask the question when like generally it's me that knows what's going on, but somebody will assume like I have to ask the man that question.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like stuff like that all the time. Assumed strength or the want to learn from a master how to fight with waterbending they're going to assume that those people are male. And we'll learn why, but let's keep going.
Because they're knights of the round table in Venice. Snowy Venice. Okay. We need to flesh out our ensemble.
Okay, so Zhao is just gonna...
What? I've recruited them for a little expedition to the North Pole.
Uncle, is that true?
Uncle.
Afraid so. He's taking everyone. Even the cook.
Even the cook.
Capture the Avatar. But I can't have you getting in my way again.
Oh!
Okay.
Zuko has faced more resistance from his own folks. Oh, right. That already happened.
Yeah, Zhao
mask
sees the
and the-
swords and realizes that
The masked
Zuko's the
Avenger.
blue spirit.
Skill with broadswords, Prince Zuko.
I'm not.
Oh!
It's decorative.
Have you heard of the blue spirit, General Iroh?
Just rumors.
What a bro.
Do you think Iroh knows?
Iroh knows.
And an enemy of the Fire Nation. But I have a feeling justice will catch up with him soon.
Blue Spirit is like a superhero. He's like it's like a Batman type.
Masked
huh?
warrior.
Yeah.
And before we go back to Pakku, okay. Zhao,
So he knows that Zuko is the Blue Spirit.
he just... Yes,
He
it
just
was...
put two and two together. We saw that flashback.
Yes.
He sees the swords. And he's like,
And what you said about Zuko has faced more adversity from his own folks than he has from anyone. That's because Zuko is a banished prince. And I think that this episode, if you start to tie all those pieces together and realize, like, we don't even really know why Iroh, who seemingly his reputation is unmarred with the Fire Nation, he's a retired general, why would he decide to go with his banished nephew?
But on the other side of that coin, we have seen multiple times where Uncle Iroh is sort of like prone to get captured or find himself in a precarious situation along the way.
Yeah, perhaps he's a bit too trusting because he also lived in an era where the nations were closer, where there were friendships and allyships between these nations that have been absolutely decimated over time by the Fire Nation's continual perpetuation of war. And Zhao feels that Prince Zuko has no business capturing the Avatar, even though he knows that it's the only way Zuko can return home. He wants the glory. He's now risen in rank. He has more authority, enough authority to step on a prince's ship and say, I'm requisitioning your ship. It's under my control now.
So they'll let Zuko do everything except take the credit for his plight.
I mean, Zuko literally cannot enter the Fire Nation. He's banished from the Fire Nation. And the only way his father, the Fire Lord, has said he's allowed to come back is with the Avatar in hand.
And with Zuko, that's the only world he knows. It's not like there's some fire resistance people hanging out. Or were there? Did we meet fire resistance people?
I mean, the last episode... Well, no, not resistance people. Do you mean like rebels of the Fire Nation?
Right, clear cut. Like they associate themselves with Fire Nation stuff. They wear the clothes. They do the whoosh.
That would be like Master Zhang, who taught Aang the beginnings of firebending.
Okay, so there are some holdouts.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but Zuko currently does not align with those
He's not a
folks.
part of that world.
He has loyalty to the Fire Nation. He has simply been banished for standing up to his father, not even intentionally, but by disrespecting his father who is in charge of the nation. Zuko still feels that he is a prince of that nation and has loyalty to it, but he is not allowed to be a part of his culture anymore.
I am interested to see how long that little shred of loyalty actually lasts.
Oh,
and we're in Blue Spirit territory anyway. So
we are.
Could one say that it's gone?
definitely not gone, but these next 2 episodes, you will learn a lot more about Zuko. I'm so excited to dive into it. Book 2 is just a whole exploration of Zuko's character, but
Sweet.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. Let's press play.
Let's go to our first waterbending lesson.
Okay. So we're learning waterbending.
I've waited for this day my whole life. I finally get to learn
I'm
from
sick.
the real Waterbending Master.
He is. He's got the moves.
Oh, please, march right in. I'm not concentrating or anything.
Ha, ha, ha.
Katara, the one I told you about?
It's good.
I'm sorry. I think there's been a misunderstanding.
I think you misunderstood. This is what you were saying, Katara. Women can't waterbend?
That little wobble in her eyes of anger.
It was beautiful.
What do you mean you won't teach me? I didn't travel across the entire world so you can tell me no.
That's right.
But there must be other female waterbenders in your tribe.
Here, the women learn from Yagoda to use their waterbending to heal. I'm sure she would be happy to take you as her student, despite your bad attitude.
I don't want to heal.
Bad attitude is just not conforming to what he thinks.
Well, your rules stink. Yeah, they're not fair. If you won't teach Katara, then
Tell him, Aang.
I won't learn from you.
And look at Katara immediately.
Wait, Aang didn't mean that.
She's sticking up for him.
You have to learn from Master Pakku, even if he is a big jerk.
The ends justify the means to Katara.
The ends, well, yeah, she values the importance of the Avatar's role more than she is hurt by the exclusion. However,
That's not a hugely profound thing either. She's like, oh, well, we still need to save the entire world.
right. I mean, the question of whether or not Katara has the ability to be the bigger person is not a question. She is the bigger person.
She's proven that in episode after episode.
But that demeaning language, like seriously, when I was 11 years old and watching this for the first time, like I couldn't tell you how many times I had felt like that. Like I was told, no, you can't do this, or no, you're too little to do this, or you're not strong enough to do this. Like for her to stand there and say, I didn't come across the whole world so you could tell me no, and then him to turn around and say, the women in our tribe learn from Yagoda how to heal. Well, she already knows how to heal. That's not who she is. She's a fighter. It's not that she doesn't have the ability. It's that her talents lie in fighting, and she wants to be a defender of her people.
So you're seeing this as a child, and you're getting, quite frankly, the most equalizing media message I've ever seen in children's media. I mean, let's just say that right now, because it's not even like the moral of the story at that point. It's so understood that we're in minute 7 or 8 of this episode, and that's set up as an adversary.
Yes.
or a hindrance for them. That's not like it's not the lesson. It's not even the lesson learned. It's just stated. It's just known. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
that is rare.
It's so rare, and it's important that we know already that Katara has the ability to fight, but that until this point, we have not experienced the same attitude, even from the Fire Nation, and on display that they will not include women in this way.
And the Fire Nation are the biggest baddies on the planet, but they had exactly.
And
so they haven't done this. So what the heck is Iceland's deal?
right, that's we will continue to dive into
Not
that.
actual Iceland. I know very little, admittedly, about Iceland other than it's beautiful.
But I think
Not
Katara
China.
kept a
Iceland.
level head. It was extremely frustrating to be with her in that moment. But even Aang, his gut reaction was, if you're not going to include her, then I don't want to learn from you. But Katara, always the voice of reason, says, no, we came all this way. You are the Avatar. You have to learn waterbending, even if he's a jerk face.
So Mulan, in contrast, has to appear in drag to get this sort of Disney's Mulan.
Right.
In that work, she has to dress up as the opposite gender representation in order to unjustly fight for the role that she wants in stuff.
Right. She has to fool them.
She has to exactly, yeah. She has to deceive them and then like prove them.
I'm just anything you can do, I can do
But
better.
Katara, these writers are like, no, it's just stated. It's just understood.
There's no question on our side whether or not Katara can fight. We saw her the last episode freeze tanks all by herself.
Oh yeah, that's that Nickelodeon magic.
All right, you want to keep going?
Yes.
Why don't we get started then?
Aang and gang concede. And now we're going in the ice gondola down the frigid stream.
I'm happy you enjoyed yourself.
Well, it wasn't as much fun after you left.
Aww.
Aww.
I'm still hoping we can see more of each other.
Do an activity, you mean? Yes.
Haha. Because we're 12 years old.
For some time.
He's like 15, 16.
I'll meet you on that bridge tonight. Great. I'll see you.
Oh my god. But see, I also relate to Sokka in those moments.
The guy who's steering the boat at that point like has his AirPods in, but he's not listening to anything. He's just like listening to these kids. That's some tasty gold.
You died at that the first time, this pirate.
That's some tasty gold.
So remember, Zhao hired those pirates, and now we see Yagoda, the healing master.
Creepy doll. Like the healing practice doll is creepy.
Yeah, like the lines of... Yeah. She's so disappointed. And look how... Do you notice how little those
She just
girls
hunkers
are?
down. Yeah, they're learning to heal at such a young age. He's criticizing how Aang is the rate of Aang's learning. He just eat a whole fish whole.
Looked like a
Of
squid
his cup.
type thing, yeah.
Squid? That calamari was not cooked, sir.
Thanks for the lesson. So who's the lucky boy? Huh?
Your betrothal necklace. You're getting married, right?
No, I don't think
Okay.
that yet.
Before she tells
Katara's
the story
not
of
ready
that
for it.
necklace, do you remember me getting all excited when Aang made Katara a new necklace out of twine when she lost her necklace?
Yes.
Remember
Yeah,
that
yeah,
period?
yeah.
It got lost and Zuko had held on to it. Yeah. So I got so excited about that moment because I already knew that the symbolism behind those necklaces is in the Northern Water Tribe. It is a way that people propose to each other and that you show that you are engaged.
Oh, okay. And does Aang know this?
No, he didn't know that. He just knew that necklace was
doesn't
really important to Katara and he wanted her to have something to wear.
He could tell how important it is to her.
Yeah. But this moment is when Katara realizes that her necklace, which she inherited from her mother and she inherited from Gran,
It's an engagement ring.
it's an engagement necklace.
Oh.
My grandmother gave my mother this necklace, and my mother passed it down to me.
I recognize this carving. I don't know why I didn't realize sooner. You're the spitting image of Kana.
Wait, how do you know my grand's name?
When I was about your age, I was friends with Kana. She was born here in the northern tribe.
She never told me.
Your grandmother had an arranged marriage with a young waterbender. He carved
This is medieval times. Arranged marriages?
Engaged. Why did she leave?
I don't know. That's always been a mystery to me. She left without
Gran left.
So Gran left.
Without saying goodbye.
She just up and left.
Cold-blooded.
Why don't you join me? It would clear your head. Or just stay in your room and sit in the dark. Whatever makes you
Iroh is so accepting of Zuko. Okay. Dun dun.
What was that?
The
was
parrot lizard that belongs to the pirates. Remember Zhao? We just saw the scene.
Gosh.
Zhao will do anything to steal glory and to be what he thinks is the hero. Enough that he will attempt to assassinate Zuko, as he's doing now.
With that blasting jelly. They're getting poison ready. Oh, he knows. Yeah, something is afoot. So he's going to go out.
And in these moments are so weird because we don't like Zuko, but we know that he's not the main antagonist.
It's how they're framing him.
We don't like Zhao a lot more than we don't like Zuko.
Yeah. Oh, this thing. Right. Looks like a dinosaur. I see why they call it blasting jelly. Is he dead? And Iroh just had the feeling.
The depth of care and love that Iroh has for his nephew is so heartbreaking.
I feel like Iroh's seen a lot.
Okay. Flashback to.
Hi, Princess Yue. I made you something. I carved it myself.
Dear God.
It's supposed to be a bear.
It's a bear.
That's not how fish look, dude.
Sokka is so charming. And so, in his endearing non-creativity.
And he thinks it's because of his whittling abilities.
He's getting mixed signals.
Whittling ability. Mm-hmm. Mixed signals?
Yeah.
She's playing... Oh, yeah. She's playing hot and cold.
He's right to be confused.
That reminds me.
Why don't you just teach her, Aang?
Of a certain courtship I know.
You can teach her moves you learned from Master Paku. That way you have someone to practice with, and I get to learn waterbending. Everyone's happy.
Okay, that little music, doesn't it sound like a Jack in the Box, like winding up? Dun, dun,
It
dun, dun.
absolutely does, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's an easy solution. But as we see, all Katara does
Whimsy.
is one move.
That was amazing. That wasn't me.
And Paku's there. Creepy.
He's been watching the whole time and waiting for her to trip up.
You are no longer welcome as my student.
And what does Katara do?
What do you want me to do? Force Master Paku to take Aang back as his student?
Yes, please.
If you swallow your pride and apologize to him,
So he's going to throw the whole training out because of a perceived slight by Katara.
Okay. There is nothing more infuriating
waiting.
than that moment in the show. Not only is he unwilling to bend and accept someone who's not from his culture. Like, it is upsetting that this is such an exclusionary culture that women are only allowed to heal. Healing is an incredible power. Fantastic, but perhaps the men would benefit from knowing that power too, and perhaps the women would equally benefit from knowing how to fight. It goes both ways. And she was willing to, as they put it, swallow her pride and play their game. And she says, okay, I will apologize. And all he says is, I'm waiting, little girl.
Like her concession, I mean, really for her, it's groveling is not enough.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
not
going
enough
to
to appease
further demean you. Okay. So,
Just for the sake of, just to humiliate her.
but then top 10 Katara moments ever.
I'm waiting, little. She's breaking the ground.
just like the first episode.
Oh, you're right.
I'll be outside if you're man enough to fight me. Katara. Yeah, I think she did mean that.
Just devastated. The Fire Lord will not be pleased when he learns who was responsible.
You know who was behind the attack?
Yes. Pirates. We had a run-in with them a while back.
Iroh's poker face, man.
Iroh's playing him?
Do you don't remember that?
Yes, I accept. It will be
Yeah. No, I remember now.
Yeah, Iroh's a G.
He's playing the long game for sure. Great pan up to the Fire Nation flag.
I know. I don't care. You don't have to do this for me. I can find another teacher.
She ain't doing it for you.
Someone can slap some sense into that guy. So, you decided to show up? Aren't you gonna fight?
Go back to the healing huts with the other women where you belong.
Ugh. Whip him.
He's
You want to learn to fight so bad? Study closely.
And then this fight breaks out. I think he's just intimidated. I think he would just be intimidated by a woman who could waterbend. A woman who could waterbend.
But I mean, watch her. She's been on her own learning for a year.
Right. She's got super high attack, super high special attack. But in this... Oh, yeah.
You can't knock me down.
You...
She is the bravest.
She says, you can't knock me down.
She's doing
She
this
goes
for
in the dunk
every...
tank,
Look
too.
at all those kids cheering for her.
I think
She's
those are
doing
all
this
little
for
boys.
every woman in that tribe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we have a
Yeah.
little Matrix moment with the ice discs.
And then he gets mad.
Right. So it looked like he was giving his all there. Because now he's humiliated. Or, you know.
Well, rest. You are an excellent waterbender.
But you still won't teach me, will you?
No.
So he's met his match, but he's exerting power over her in a different way.
Well, he could easily hurt her if he wanted to, but that isn't his point. Until this, he's going to trap her and demean her. Like that. Make everyone fear that she's just been
I thought that
killed.
was going to go a lot different.
Oh, but then he sees her necklace. Change of heart.
I made this 60 years ago
Okay.
for the love of my life. For Kama.
For... Oh, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And before we...
I could see why the Grand left.
Oh, yeah. Grand went probably... I gotta build a different life for myself. There's no future here. And if I don't believe Grand is a waterbender, since Katara is the only known waterbender in the Southern Tribe, but that didn't mean that she agreed with the rules of this culture. And I just want to point out that while Paku does have a change of heart in this moment, that change of heart is only because he had lasting feelings for this woman.
It's for the wrong reasons.
It's for the
right?
wrong reasons, and it is not enough, which happens in our culture today too much. It is not enough to make an exception for a young woman because you know her parents, because you know someone who coached her, because perhaps she's an exception. It is not enough to make an exception based on past relationships. There should be no exceptions. We should treat women equally and give them equal opportunity, which while Katara does end up having the ability to learn from him, I don't believe that lesson ever leaves her.
He still doesn't want the oppressiveness, the sexism, genderism, whatever you want to call it. He still doesn't want to relinquish that. He truly believes in that order, and he really can't concede, not only because he's a jerk, but also he would lose credibility with all. I mean, you saw all those kids.
Yeah.
And who were they cheering for? Were they cheering for Katara or were they cheering for him?
Definitely cheering for Katara, because then
really?
all of the faces are scared and devastated when they see those ice spikes.
Yeah, because she's finally stepping up to the status quo. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, they're seeing, wow, something they've never seen before, a woman holding her own against somebody like this. They've never
Imagine
been
that.
allowed to practice or allowed to learn to defend themselves, which is so important. Like, this is not a difference of size and physicality. This is preventing women from having the same ability to fight and defend themselves as the men do.
And that's what we call, in the biz, we call that systemic, right? There's a system in here in place that is oppressing women at making them, grind defense and special defense and healing spells.
And I remember this episode as the first time in my life that somebody presented that in a way that actually calls it out. And no offense, Mulan, like the Disney version, but that didn't show me that a woman is equal, is capable. It showed me that a woman has to change herself and try to fit into a mold in order to be accepted by men, but this didn't do that.
Has to go to such great lengths to prove that she's worthy. Katara is literally just saying, no, dude, I am worthy.
I am worthy.
My kind of gal, if you say so.
Love it.
Okay. When you said this show got deep, this show does get deep.
It gets deep. Now let's catch up with Zuko for a second.
Okay. What do you mean, Zuko? He's toast. Oh my gosh, no, he's not.
Doesn't that make you wonder about Iroh? His reputation is unmarred with the Fire Nation, but clearly his loyalty is to Zuko before the Fire Nation.
Well, what does he see in Zuko?
Love. He loves him.
And it's way better work than Sokka.
Katara, she didn't love you, did she?
It was an arranged marriage. We call that...
And there goes Princess Yue.
Right.
Those same customs that she's being forced to uphold.
She doesn't want to do that. That doesn't mean that Sokka's a good whittler, but...
I want you to know, I think you're beautiful. And I never thought a girl like you would even notice a guy like me.
You don't understand.
No. See, that's the thing. I think I do understand.
No, Sokka.
Oh, this is Venice. This is La Dolce Vita.
Yeah.
Southern pet.
No, Sokka.
It's okay.
The moon. Oh my gosh.
See you around, okay?
Smooch.
Mixed signals. What is that?
Mixed signals.
Not her fault. She's confused.
But we can't be together. And not for the reason you think. It's because I'm engaged.
Oh, so when he said marrying age, he's saying we're on the cusp of a political arrangement
Yes.
that will perpetuate the status quo.
Yes.
Ah.
Not bad. Keep practicing and maybe you'll get it.
Nobody laughs with this guy. He's...
No, but...
Hey, Katara.
What do you think you're doing?
Hey, Katara!
It's past sunrise. You're late.
Good to see you here.
Okay.
That's right, Nori.
My fleet is ready.
Menacing brass.
Set a course for the
Oh,
North Tribe.
that's why.
Yeah, battleship for sure.
Battleship.
You see this massive fleet of
all
ships.
spewing fire and smoke into the otherwise placid waters. And you would have had to wait an entire week.
Yeah.
Even with all that stuff going on with Zuko and Ibro, so you're left hanging with that. You know that Aang and Katara and Sokka, they will at last get what they came for, which is waterbending training. But now you have this other threat coming at you from the south.
And
C4.
Little do they know,
Mm-hmm.
they're closing in.
Yeah, with their fire, trying to melt the ice.
So,
What did we learn?
what did we learn? We learned that sometimes culture is slow to catch up to equality.
Especially if they're isolated. Especially if they're willfully isolated.
So there's no question that we already know by this point that Katara is an equal, that her brother treats her as an equal, that Aang treats her as an equal, that she's been received well for the most part when they have met allies in this world, but that even when meeting her own people, her sister tribe, it turns out that she's not going to be treated equally and she has to fight for that. And I think that that is really reflective of where we still are today.
Her spirit in that, in all of this, it's like the southern water folks are like refugees of this system, of this binary, this systemic oppression thing.
It does make me wonder because it doesn't go into the history a whole lot. Like the northern tribe somehow has been able to survive when the southern tribe was not able to. Now we know that Sokka and Katara's father and all of the other warriors left, and that they went off to war, and then Fire Nation people came and attacked their village, and supposedly killed all of the other waterbenders, or killed a lot of other people. But we don't know what was different that the northern tribe fared better than the southern tribe.
We have no idea.
Right. So those are things that honestly I don't feel like we even learn that much in depth until you watch like Legend of Korra, which is after this entire series. It goes into the relationship between the northern and southern tribe a lot more deeply.
Oh, really?
Really. But this does show you, like you said earlier, about how isolated communities can at times perpetuate issues, because those are just what generation after generation teaches. But we're in a new era. The Avatar is back.
I wasn't trying to indemnify. Is that the right word? I wasn't trying to absolve this guy. I wasn't trying to say like, oh, it's not his fault. It's all he knows. Because that's not what we do, folks.
Yeah.
That's not what we do. We stand up to it.
We learn, we grow. And we stay open-minded, because there's no question that while Katara, I'm sure, would make an excellent healer, that is not what she is called to do. And she has the right to say, I'm a fighter and I deserve to learn.
I think she proved herself.
I did too.
But I also think that her main thing was that she didn't have to. But then just to be a tough cookie, she did.
Yeah, because Katara stands up for what she knows is right, and that is her character. Through and through, always, in every situation. It's not that she doesn't make a mistake, but at the end of the day, she is the bravest of the bunch. She will stand up when others can't, and will fight for not just herself. She wanted to learn waterbending, but she did that for all of the women that come after her.
And all of the young girls that are at that watched her stand up.
And I think Paku started to have a change of heart, and that this bravery is what will open up a new future for a lot of these people. And I mean, how much deeper can you get with a children's TV show? Come on.
I did not know that you could get this deep with a children's TV show. And then Kaylee is sitting here telling me that it gets better. That it builds on this?
Doesn't it, guys? It gets so much better. But thanks for joining us for this episode. We are so stoked to round
episode.
off Book 1. Next time, we will be diving into Siege of the North Parts 1 and 2. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm AJ.
I'm Kaylee.
And you have been listening to just endured a full, solid 55 minutes and 55 seconds of Atlas Shrugged, the Avatar The Last Airbender podcast.
And hey, if you like us, you enjoy us, you for some reason sit through and listen to us chatting, why not
What do you mean
drop
for
a
some
review?
reason? We're delightful.
Why not drop a review? Let other people
Drop a
know.
review on your platform of choice. We appreciate all of you. We appreciate our U.S. listeners. We appreciate our abroad listeners. And are excited to see so many of them lately. And, wow. Look at the time.
We'll catch you next time.